The task today for the Eagles is nice and simple. Win, and the one seed is yours. Welcome to the Week 18 feature of the Philly Sports Eagles pregame show. My name is Benjamin Gold, and I am joined by Eagles writer Sam Hine. All they got to do is win. We've been saying that for the last few weeks, but it's also important now as they've one shot left. Sam, how are you doing on this Sunday afternoon?
I'm doing good. It's a little sad, not going to lie, because it is the last week of the season. Luckily, the Eagles will be playing in the postseason, so it feels like the season has gone by insanely fast. But last game of the season and might be the most important one.
I mean, they do say when you're having fun, time flies. So that's certainly been the deal with the Eagles this season. Today's show is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code Philly Sports at SeatGeek to save $20 off your first order. The Eagles take on the Giants this afternoon. The Giants have already locked up the 6th seed. They have nothing to play for, and that's why their quarterback is Davis Webb, or as I like to call him, Davis Weeb. And for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts is back finally. I have my Black Hurts on jersey too. We're matching today. So the last time Jalen Hurts played was Week 14 against the Bears. We all know what happened after that. He sprained his shoulder, was out for the last 3 weeks, and he finally returns for probably his third most important game of his career, again against the Giants. His last game, which was 4 weeks ago, it was like a month ago, he went 21-31 with 217 yards, averaged 7 yards per reception, 2 touchdown passes. He was sacked 4 times, no picks, and an 85.6 QB rating. What are we expecting from Jalen Hurts? How will he perform today in his first game back?
So I'm very excited that we get Jalen back, but I don't want to be too over optimistic about the way he's going to play today. I expect the Eagles to be kind of cautious with the running aspect of Jalen because that's where he did end up getting hurt. Everyone talks about, running quarterbacks. They always get hurt, and, he did get hurt outside of the pocket running. So I think that could be an area that they slow his game down today. And then honestly, it's just, I don't know how his shoulder's going to be. His accuracy might be off a little bit today, but, I'm glad he's back, and I think he's going to play well, but I don't know if we're going to see the exactly, MVP Jalen, but we might not even need that today. I'm honestly just kind of looking for him to get out there, get back in the groove of things, get his feet wet again, because if we had to wait until the playoffs for him to start, it could have been a long time, and then, his get to knock the rust off kind of game could have came in the divisional round of the playoffs instead of a Week 18 game. So, while I think he's going to play well, I don't want to set high expectations for him coming off of a pretty important injury to the most important part of a quarterback's body.
That's for sure. Those stats, by the way, were not from his last game. Those were from his game against the Giants in Week 14. It's a little different story with the Giants this week, though, as well. Their quarterback is not Daniel Jones, as they are resting their starters. Understandably, it is Davis Webb. Who? Take us through Davis Webb.
Yeah, so Davis Webb is a former third-round pick from the Giants. He is their third-string quarterback. I was surprised because a lot of people thought that Tyrod Taylor was going to be starting today, but I guess that this game means so little to them that they don't even want to risk their third-string quarterback. I mean, their backup quarterback getting hurt because something happens to Daniel Jones in the playoffs, they need Tyrod Taylor. Davis Webb has one career pass for -3 yards in 2021 as a member of the Buffalo Bills. So that means he was cut by the Giants originally, and then now he got picked back up by the Giants. So, there's no real sample size of what his play style is like or anything like that. I'm assuming that, Josh Allen must have gotten knocked out of a play or something like that, and he must have came in. So it's kind of hard to be able to know what you're going to see from him as he has so little opportunities. But third-string quarterback getting his first start, Eagles should be able to take advantage of that today.
The Giants are playing their backups today. How should the Eagles take it? How should they look at these backups?
The Eagles need to treat this game as if it's the most important game of the season. Just because the Giants are playing their backups doesn't mean that they shouldn't come out and try to dominate them, because we do have something to play for. And, besides making the playoffs, the most important thing next is getting that 1 seed. And if we lose and have to go to Tampa next week, 3 straight losses, having to go back to Tampa for a playoff game, You know, the Bucks haven't exactly been great this year, but no one wants to play Tom Brady in the playoffs. So this is one of the most important games of Jalen's career, and a lot of these Eagles players' career, because most of them weren't on the team when we went to the Super Bowl. So they need to take this game as if everything's on the line, because everything's on the line, and don't just say, oh, Daniel Jones is out, blah blah blah. Leonard Williams is out. We can take it easy. No, you need to punish them and try to get out to a big lead, and don't take it lightly just because they're not playing all their starters.
How important is that one seed, not just to Jalen Hurts, but the entire team and Nick Sirianni? How does it affect everybody, this one seed, if they don't get it? If they do, whatever.
Well, I think the biggest way that we saw how important the one seed was in 2017, because instead of having to win 3 games, you only have to win 2, obviously, and that is huge for us because of our injuries right now with Lane Johnson, Avonte Maddox, Josh Sweat. Like, those are some big time players. 2 of them are Pro Bowlers, so I don't think that they'd be able to. I mean, Josh Sweat maybe, but I don't think Avonte or Lane would be ready for next week if we had to play next week. And then if we do lose today, you have to go down to Tampa for that game. We think we'd win that one, but coming off 3 straight losses, you never know. And most likely, you're not going to get a playoff home game. Where here, no matter who we play, people are scared of the 49ers, Dallas, whatever. No matter what, it's coming through Philly. Mm-hmm. And it's just huge to always have home field advantage, because playoff atmosphere is way different than a regular season atmosphere, and you always want those games in your home field. And only having to play 2, and then, like you said, giving Jalen another week to rest his arm would be massive.
Mm-hmm. Something else with the playoff atmosphere, I've seen a lot of lists where Lincoln Financial Field has been listed very low for crowd noise. Playoffs is a whole different story. You saw it with the Phillies this season. Eagles fans show up for the postseason as well. I mean, I was looking at ticket prices yesterday. They're very pricey, but it's still going to be very, very loud, especially if they host the game against Dallas. Whew. Expect a loud one. So it's going to be very difficult for anyone to function.
I just think back to all those videos of 2017, the NFC Championship game, and how crazy that crowd was, and the Foles chants and all that stuff. You need that here. You need that in your building, because you don't want to be the opposing team going to come in. Like, everyone talks about Brock Purdy and the 49ers and how well they're playing. I love to see Brock Purdy come into the Lincoln Financial Field in the NFC Championship game and see how he performs then. You know what I mean? You don't want to have to be going to San Francisco for those games. And also just the fact of, you'd rather win 2 games than 3 to have to get to the Super Bowl. You have a way higher chance of getting the Super Bowl if you have to win 2 home games than 3 away games. So, it'd just be massive. And this is a huge, huge, huge game for us.
That's for sure. Notable matchups. What are some key things to look on today?
So I haven't seen if Saquon Barkley is playing or not today.
He's not
I'm
playing.
assuming he's not. Okay. So then I would just say the notable matchup would be for the Eagles offensive line, or Eagles defensive line versus the Giants offensive line. The Eagles are only a few sacks away from setting an NFL record for most sacks in a season. Even without Josh Sweat, they're getting Robert Quinn back today. And with a quarterback back there that's making his first career NFL start, if you're getting to him, you're hitting him early, he's going to start throwing balls up. He's going to get happy feet back there. I mean, we saw it with Gardner Minshew, and he has way more experience than Davis Webb, where he was getting happy feet, kind of throwing off his back foot, which led to some interceptions, not playing as well. You kind of see, as Sam Darnold said, kind of see ghosts back there because of all the pressure. So I think the biggest matchup, especially if I don't know if they're sitting Evan Neal or not, or Andy Thomas, but yeah.
I think they're sitting their entire, like everyone is.
I looked on their website before we got, or a couple minutes before we got on to see, but I haven't seen any updates. But it probably came out since I looked. But yeah, especially if you're going against backup O line, you got to dominate them, because that's the easiest way. If there is a way that the Giants can win this game, but if you're just dominating on the line, it's gonna be a blowout.
It is going to be a blowout. Speaking of those pricey tickets, a good way to save money and get tickets easy is on SeatGeek. It's the easiest way to buy your tickets. SeatGeek is a ticketing app, as I've said 100 times. So easy. Sam can confirm it's so easy. He bought Sixers tickets the other day from SeatGeek. I'm just making that up. But when he does buy Sixers tickets, they will be through SeatGeek. SeatGeek. All you got to do is download the app or go to SeatGeek.com, and when you're checking out, Use that code right there, Philly Sports Support. You can save $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. When you're buying pricey tickets like NFL playoffs, it's always good to save some money. So, again, code Philly Sports Support, $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. This next part is sponsored by SeatGeek, the SeatGeek Standout Stars. Who are your standout stars today?
So I'm going to go with A.J. Brown on the offense. He's only 9 or 12 yards away. I saw 12, then I also saw 9 on Twitter, so it's in that range, away from breaking the Eagles' all-time receiving record in franchise history, held by Mike Quick. So I think that he's going to try to have a big game early. Obviously, he can get that one catch, but we kind of saw over the last 2 weeks how he's had really good games, but a lot of them have come on big plays, not really a lot of catches, more of like one explosive play to get all of his yards. And especially with Jalen back, him and Jalen have amazing chemistry with each other. It seems as if Devontae and Gardner Minshew had more chemistry. The last couple of weeks, Devontae was getting a lot of the catches, so I expect AJ to have a big game with his best buddy Jalen back in the lineup.
My standout star is actually not someone that's going to be playing in the game. It is the coaching staff and limiting Jalen Hurts, limiting those runs, making smart play calling that won't hurt his shoulder. You have to be smart with Jalen Hurts today and limit him as much as possible so you don't cause further injury. So that's why I'm taking the boys on the sideline as my standout stars. Also, another thing is you have to get Jalen Hurts out of the game as quickly as possible. The Eagles want to get that lead up and make it somewhat comfortable so they can then bring in Minshew and not risk it with Hurts, which is obvious, but they got to do it.
Yeah, it would be huge to be able to get the stars out of there early, especially if they have a big lead and just salt it away with the backups. And that's definitely their goal today, start hot.
That better be their goal. Let's go over the injury reports. I'm pulling up the Giants inactives now, if I can find it. Where is it? Come on, Schefter, where are you? Give me a second. There it is. Giants inactives today. We're going to go. First off, let's look at the injury report. As of January 4th, let's see if I can do this. Feliciano, guard for the Giants, he is questionable. Leonard Williams and Aziz Ojulari are both out. And Ando Reed Jackson, he is doubtful as of January 6th. For the Eagles, Josh Sweat and Avonte Maddox are out. And then Sean Bradley and Janarius Robinson are both on the injured reserve. The inactives, we'll start with the Eagles. Ian Brook, Trey Sermon, Avonte Maddox, Lane Johnson, and Josh Sweat. And the Giants inactives, Julian Love, Endo Reed Jackson, Saquon Barkley, Aziz Ojulari, Andrew Thomas, Dexter Lawrence, and Leonard Williams. So the Giants a lot of people are inactive for them as they're trying to rest them. So what happens? Daniel Jones isn't listed as inactive. So if something happens, is Daniel Jones coming in? What's going on?
He's not. I thought you said he was.
He is not listed as inactive. He is active today.
So they're holding 3 quarterbacks then because Tyrod wasn't inactive either, right?
Uh-huh.
Wow. Yeah, that's weird. I think probably because, you can only have 53 active people on the roster. They might just have him in there. I don't know. That's weird. That is weird. Then Kayvon Thibodeau is active too, which I thought he would sit. But like we talked about, I remember last year when the Eagles and the Cowboys played and we had like Devontae Smith active, Jason Kelce active. We had a bunch of players active, and
they had Kelce.
Like a couple snaps.
They had Kelce active, so we could have that streak keep going. So you could take one snap and get him out of there. So they had that streak.
And Devontae was trying to get the receiving record, but they still only played like one drive. So I wouldn't be surprised if those guys. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to see the field, but Thibodeau and a couple of their other guys, I wouldn't be surprised if they get pulled early.
Oh, not at all. It's going to be a preseason game for the. I was hoping for a full preseason game for both teams, but the Eagles have to start their.
Just got to be careful with Jack Driscoll and Kayvon Thibodeau. We saw what Thibodeau was doing to Nick Foles last week. He's a headhunter. Hopefully, it doesn't come for Jalen's shoulder. Need Jack Driscoll to play better than he did last week for sure.
Let's look at the bets today. Eagles are minus 16.5. Will they cover, Sam?
I don't normally bet on spreads or money lines. I'm a big parlay guy, but I would take the Giants plus 16.5. I think that almost 17 points in any football game is insane, and especially because I think the Eagles are going to get out to a big lead in the beginning, and then I don't think they're going to play the starters really in the second half. I think that the Giants could get it within 17 points of a win. While I could see obviously it going the other way, that's just I don't know. Anytime I see a number that big, I normally try to stay away from it just because of like the backdoor covers and all that kind of stuff. Where how many times do you see the game's over, there's no fans in the stands, everyone's gone home in a blowout win, and then oh my god, the backup quarterback goes on an 80-yard drive and sneaks a touchdown in for
Yeah.
the last 2 minutes of a game. So I think 17 points is too much. If it was anywhere from 11 to 12, I would have taken the Eagles, or 11 to 14, I should say. I would have taken the Eagles, but 16.5 is too rich for me.
Okay. Over/under is 42. What do you got?
So I don't want to spoil my final prediction, but my final prediction is under the 42 points.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think the Eagles might score 42 points in the first half if Hurts is on today. Anyway, the lock of the day. What is your lock?
All right, so we're talking a lot about Jalen Hurts. I'm taking, and I did take Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. I think that he's going to try to get in. I think they're going to try to get him in early, try to get his rhythm back, maybe even do a sneak, let him know, yeah, my shoulder's good. I can get under this. I can do that. And then, it's the Giants. Like, Boston Scott anytime touchdown. You got to sprinkle a little money on that. It's the Giants that hit last time. It wouldn't be a Giants-Eagles game without a Boston Scott touchdown. So
The giant killer right there.
yeah, he hit last time. So
there you go. Let's go to our keys to the game. What is your keys?
So the key, you kind of talked about it earlier that I wrote down. My first one would be get out to an early lead. I think if we're up, we need to get out to an early lead, kind of stomp on them big before halftime so we can sit our starters in the second half. I don't want to see Jalen in the third quarter, and I definitely don't want to see Jalen in the fourth quarter. Jalen's in the fourth quarter, we got major, major, major problems. So I think get out to a big lead, get the starters out of the game, get as many starters out of the game early as you can. Is probably obviously winning the game is the most important thing, but that would be the second most important thing. And then my second key would go along with that is obviously win the game, but leave the game healthy. We've been having a lot of bad injuries to key important players over the last few weeks. Jalen, Lane Johnson, Avante, Josh Sweat. As much as we need this one seed and we need to go all out to win the game, I don't want anybody, getting injured because you see if we keep piling these injuries up, we hope Lane's going to be back and we hope Avante is going to be back and we hope Josh Sweat's going to be back. But there's only so many Pro Bowl players you can lose before you're one and done in the playoffs. So I think leaving the game healthy and getting coincides with getting the stars out early, but those would be my keys.
So those are both of my keys to the game. So I'm gonna take a pretty boring one, but I mean, at this point of the season, it's not as much about winning. It's more about not losing. So my key to the game for the Eagles today is to not lose. All they have to do is win or tie. So the Eagles just can't lose today. That's my key to the game. Don't lose and don't make a fool out of yourself against a bunch of backups and David Weeb.
Since we both have the same, I'll throw another one out there. I would say one of the keys is to try to get Jalen going early. And I think that they should try to have a bunch of short throws, kind of just like get him back in his rhythm, because he has been limited in practice for the last 2 weeks. He hasn't had a full practice yet since being injured, and it is his right throwing shoulder. So I think that he needs to really just be able to I think if they can get him into a rhythm, a couple short passes, and then maybe hit a deep throw, just kind of get his confidence back, slowly working back into things, not try to go crazy where first play is deep shot, all these plays over the middle of the field deep, all that kind of stuff, like where that's a lot of their offense comes from, because Jalen's great at throwing the deep ball and they have wide receivers that can go up and get it. I think if they need to start by getting him involved early, short throws, intermediate throws, trying to get his confidence back and work him back in, and then let it fly from there.
I agree. Speaking of Jalen Hurts, I see you have a Jalen Hurts little painting next to you. I don't remember seeing that. Is that new?
Yeah, so obviously we haven't had a pregame show since for
That's
a
been a
while
while.
actually, and my brother found this for me for Christmas in Philly. Nice
That's
little
cool.
Jalen with the Batman thing, yeah. So my brother got me that for Christmas.
That's good stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
what is your prediction today, Big
All
Ten?
right, so I do think that the Eagles are going to come out and start fast and get to a big lead, and I do think that they're going to pull the starters early. But I think that in the second half, the Giants can get kind of some offense going a little bit with the Eagles backups in. So my prediction is Eagles 28, Giants 13, which is 41, which is why I have the under before. But
Mm-hmm.
28-13, I think that we might get up to 21 points at half, 21-3, 21-0, that kind of range, 21-7. So I think we can pull the stars at half and get the clinch the division.
I think this is going to be an absolute murder for us today in the first half. I don't think it's even going to be a competitive game by halftime. I think the Eagles score 20, like 8 points or something at the half. I feel like it's just going to be one of those halves where interception, pick six, touchdown, pick six, interception. It's just going to be one of those.
Maybe I
Davis
need to
Mills.
add Eagles defense as anytime touchdown as your lock.
There you go. I think and we have C.J. Gardner-Johnson back today. He still leads the league in interceptions. Yeah, there you go. My lock, Eagles defense for pick six. C.J. Gardner-Johnson pick six. It's happening today. So I think the Eagles win 30-17. I guess 14. I don't know, but they're definitely going to hit the 30s. They're going to kill them in the first half. It's going to be really mean, but it's going to be fun.
On real quick on CJ Garner Johnson, because we didn't really talk about it. Do you think they're going to play him at safety or in the slot?
They'll probably put him at safety, so he's good for the playoffs. I think that's
what I think too. But I've seen a lot of talk about how he might be played in the slot because Josiah Scott. I mean, obviously the interception last week, but hasn't been playing that great. And he played in the slot in New Orleans. But I don't know. I if you think Avante's, I think what happens with Gardner Johnson is going to be a really big tell of what they think is going to happen with Avante Maddox in the playoffs. Because if Gardner Johnson's playing the slot, then that means Avante's probably not going to be there the first week of the playoffs. But if he is playing safety, then they probably think Avante's coming back.
I would believe Avante would be back in 2 weeks. I mean, they have if hopefully they have that week off. If not, he's not playing. But
yeah,
Avante Maddox, I would believe, would be back. So expect Gardner Johnson to be back at safety. If not, then as you said, that's going to be a big tell.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I have. Anything else that you need to add?
No, I think we touched all of it. Just hopefully we can get out of here with a nice, easy win and don't have to talk for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that would be good on a lot at this point. There we go. This has been the final regular season pregame show of the 2022-23 Eagles season, brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code Philly Sports to save $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow all of our social medias. Today we were on Twitter and Twitch today, and YouTube. So we hit up 3 different things. Had to pay some money for that, but it's okay. This has been the Week 18 pregame show. Check out PhillySportSports.com after the games and check out the Eagles game recap from one of our analysts. Enjoy the game, everyone. Got to pray for a win. Love for DeMar Hamlin and go Birds.
Go Birds.